as most things do nowadays, and then I finished with like a chemistry read with Jenna and Emma.
You need an Agnes.
Yeah.
Agnes is a very small child, so let's leave the children out of it.
I care about your feelings. Yeah. I know. Thanks. So sweet.
Evie Templeton has finally broken her silence on the dating rumors surrounding Jenna Ortega and Emma Myers, and fans can't believe what she said. For over a year, the internet has been obsessed with every detail. The glances, the hugs, the whispers caught on camera. Entire timelines, edits, and theories have been built around Jenna and Emma's connection. But when Evie, someone who actually knows them, gave her thoughts, the entire conversation shifted in a way nobody saw coming. Her words weren't vague, and they weren't safe. They were bold, emotional, and loaded with meaning. And if you stay until the end, you'll hear the exact line that fans are calling the closest thing to confirmation we've ever had. Because it wasn't just what she said that set the fandom on fire, it was the way she said it. And if you love following stories like this, make sure you hit subscribe to GossipSlice right now, because the next update could be even bigger. Before we even get into what she said, you have to understand why Evie Templeton's opinion carries so much weight. She's not just another fan tossing theories around, and she's not a random Hollywood insider whispering rumors. Evie is a rising star in her own right, someone who has been close enough to Jenna and Emma to actually see their bond unfold behind the scenes. That alone makes her voice different. It makes it matter. Fans know Evie for one thing: honesty. She doesn't sugarcoat. She doesn't play the Hollywood PR game. She has a reputation for saying things the way they are, without filters or spin. And in an industry where most people hide behind carefully crafted answers, that kind of authenticity is rare. That's why, when she speaks, people pay attention. Add to that the fact that Evie's career is just starting to skyrocket. She's not in the position to make reckless comments that could hurt her image. Every word she says is going to follow her, which means if she chose to talk about Jenna and Emma, she knew exactly how big of a deal it was. And that only makes her answer more significant. The fandom understands this. That's why Evie's reaction hit so differently compared to the usual noise online. This wasn't speculation. This wasn't gossip. This was someone who knows them, someone close, someone with something to lose, speaking up. And when someone in that position says something, it hits harder than any rumor or theory ever could. And when someone this close finally speaks up, the entire fandom listens. But what no one expected was the way Evie chose to answer. During a recent livestream Q&A, Evie Templeton found herself caught in the middle of a moment fans had been waiting for. The live chat was relentless, filled with the same questions spamming over and over again. What do you think about Jenna and Emma? It wasn't just one or two fans asking, it was the entire chat flooding the screen, refusing to let it go until Evie gave an answer. At first, she tried to play it off. She laughed nervously, clearly aware of how loaded the subject was. Everyone knows the Jenna and Emma rumors are one of the hottest topics online, and Evie looked like she understood just how careful she had to be. A simple comment could go viral within minutes, dissected frame by fans across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. But that's what made what happened next so surprising. Instead of dodging the question or brushing it aside, Evie leaned closer to the camera, took a long pause, and gave her response. The tension in the chat was through the roof. Fans were holding their breath, waiting to see if she would finally break the silence or follow the usual Hollywood script. And then, Evie opened her mouth and gave an answer that no one expected. She didn't shut it down. She didn't laugh it off. She didn't say the words, "just friends." She gave something else entirely. Something that immediately set the fandom into overdrive. But the words she chose weren't what anyone expected. And that's where everything shifted. Instead of dodging the question or brushing it off with a laugh, Evie leaned into it. And what she said only poured gasoline on the fire. Her exact words were, "Those two, they're inseparable." It's honestly beautiful to see. I don't know what label people want to put on it, but I've rarely seen a bond like that in this industry. That wasn't the safe, scripted answer fans have come to expect from celebrities. It wasn't the usual throwaway "we're just friends" line that shuts rumors down instantly. It wasn't vague. It wasn't generic. It sounded personal, almost as if Evie was speaking from real experience, as if she had actually witnessed Jenna and Emma's connection up close. And it wasn't just the words themselves, it was how she said them. Her tone softened when she spoke. She paused before finishing her thought, like she was choosing her words carefully. And then there was the little smile, the one that slipped right before she said "inseparable." Fans didn't miss that. They noticed every micro expression, every pause, every inflection. To them, this wasn't just another comment. It was a glimpse into how Eevee truly saw Jenna and Emma when the cameras weren't rolling. Within minutes, the clip had exploded across social media. TikTok edits replayed her answer in slow motion, zooming in on her smile frame by frame. Twitter threads broke down the entire moment like a case study, pointing out her body language with red circles and arrows. Instagram Reels cut her words alongside Jenna's softest laughs and Emma's most affectionate looks, making it feel like a confession threaded into the fandom's favorite memories. Captions read things like, "Even Eevee sees it," and "She knows." And while Eevee didn't confirm anything directly, the fandom didn't need her to. The combination of her words and her body language told them everything they had been waiting to hear. To them, it felt like the quiet confirmation Jenna and Emma could never say out loud themselves. It wasn't just about the sentence she spoke, it was the delivery, the choice of the word rare, the deliberate pause before she answered, the smile that lingered just a little too long. For fans, all those details weren't accidents. They were signals, they were hints, they were breadcrumbs that added up to something much bigger. And if her words alone weren't enough, the reaction that followed made it undeniable. Fans didn't just clip it, they elevated it. They turned it into one of the most dissected, most rewatched, and most debated clips in the entire Gemma timeline. And that's where the story grew even louder, because the way fans interpreted her answer turned this small moment into something Hollywood couldn't ignore. To the fandom, Eevee's reaction wasn't just a throwaway comment, it was the moment they had been waiting for. Within minutes, clips of her answer spread like wildfire. TikTok edits slowed down her smile, looping the exact second she said the word inseparable. Captions highlighted every phrase, every pause, every shift in her tone. On Twitter, threads stacked up with screenshots, each one circling her expression like it was evidence in a case file. Instagram Reels paired her words with Jenna and Emma's most viral moments, cutting them together like proof in a documentary. Fans didn't see it as casual, they saw it as confirmation. The comments came fast and furious. She didn't deny it. Eevee knows the truth, but is being respectful. If she's calling it rare, that says everything. For them, this wasn't just speculation anymore. This was validation from someone close enough to know. Eevee's voice carried weight, and fans treated it as if she had finally said the quiet part out loud. That's why her words instantly became part of the growing Gemma timeline. Fans added it alongside Jenna's voice memos, her protective podcast confessions, and Emma's livestream hints. Eevee's statement wasn't cataloged as just another opinion, it was slotted in as undeniable proof. One more puzzle piece fitting neatly into a theory that fans had been building for over a year. Edits started labeling her answer as the smoking gun. Threads argued that Eevee had basically said what Jenna and Emma couldn't. Fan theories evolved overnight, no longer just about analyzing body language or behind-the-scenes giggles, but now about what Eevee might have witnessed firsthand. To the fandom, it wasn't if anymore. It was when. And here's what made it even more powerful. Fans weren't only focused on what Eevee said, they were obsessed with what she didn't say. She didn't brush the question off, she didn't laugh it away like so many others in Hollywood would have. She didn't use the safe, standard line, "They're just friends." Instead, she chose words that sounded deeper, more thoughtful, more intentional. Words that left room for interpretation. That silence where a denial should have been is exactly why fans took her response so seriously. Because in Hollywood, silence or dismissal is the norm. But Eevee broke that pattern. She went in the opposite direction, leaning into the closeness instead of running from it. And that's the real reason this moment hit so hard, because in choosing not to shut the door, Eevee may have opened one that Hollywood never intended to unlock. And that's where everything changes. In Hollywood, there's a script everyone knows by heart. When rumors start to swirl, co-stars almost always fall back on the same line. "We're just friends." It's safe, it's rehearsed, it's designed to kill the story instantly. No room for debate, no headlines worth printing, end of conversation. But here's what makes Evie Templeton's reaction stand out. She didn't use that script, she didn't laugh it off, she didn't throw out the default line. Instead, she leaned in and chose words that turned the entire conversation upside down. She didn't minimize Jenna and Emma's relationship, she amplified it. She called them inseparable. She described their connection as rare. She even went as far as calling it beautiful. That may sound simple, but in Hollywood, that's a seismic shift. No PR manager trains you to say something like that because it doesn't shut down speculation, it pours gasoline on it. Eevee could have ended the moment with a quick, throwaway answer. "They're just good friends." That would have killed the clip before it even got started. But she didn't. She left the door wide open. And in an industry where image is everything, leaving that door open is practically an invitation for fans to start digging deeper, and they did. Because the truth is, her words didn't feel polished or planned. They didn't sound like PR spin, they sounded personal, honest, maybe even a little too honest. The tone of her voice, the way her expression softened, it gave fans the sense that Eevee wasn't just making small talk, she was speaking from something real. Something she had actually seen. That's why this moment hit so hard. Eevee's answer wasn't vague, and it wasn't safe. It felt raw. And for a fandom that has spent over a year dissecting every hug, every smile, every whisper between Jenna and Emma, that kind of honesty feels dangerously close to confirmation. Now, people aren't just replaying what Eevee said, they're asking why she said it that way. Was it a slip she didn't mean to reveal? Was it intentional, a subtle way of validating what fans already believe? Or was it the first real crack in a story Hollywood has been trying to keep behind closed doors? And those questions bring us straight into the big debate that fans are still fighting about to this very day. So now we're left with the question that has every fan divided. And it's bigger than ever. Did Evie Templeton just hand us the closest thing to an answer? Or was she simply being careful? Speaking as a kind friend who didn't want to shut the door completely? What we know for sure is this. Her words weren't vague. She didn't call Jenna and Emma just friends. She didn't dismiss it or laugh it off. She went the other way. She called them inseparable. She called their bond rare. She called it beautiful. And in Hollywood, where nearly every rumor gets killed instantly with a flat denial, that choice of words is powerful, maybe even game-changing. Think about it. If this exact comment had been made about a male and female co-star, tabloids would already be running with it as a confirmed romance. But because it's Jenna and Emma, the language gets treated differently, almost minimized. That's why Evie's statement matters so much. It pushes against the script we've all come to expect. It wasn't speculation. It wasn't a fan theory. It wasn't a guess. It was a voice from someone on the inside. And that makes it impossible to ignore. So what does this really mean? Are we finally seeing the truth peek through, hidden in plain sight? Or is this just one more piece of the puzzle that makes the mystery even deeper? Either way, Evie's reaction has elevated this story to a whole new level. And if she's willing to say this out loud, in front of thousands of fans watching live, then you have to wonder, what else hasn't been said yet? What's still being kept behind closed doors? The debate isn't ending anytime soon, and neither is the fascination. Because every time Jenna and Emma step into the spotlight, the bond between them only gets more attention, more analysis, and more weight. Evie's reaction may not be the final answer, but it feels like the beginning of something bigger, the start of a shift that can't be taken back. So, I'll leave it to you. Did Eevee basically confirm what so many fans already believe? Or did she just describe a friendship that Hollywood doesn't know how to label? Drop your theories in the comments. I'll be reading every single one because I want to know exactly where you stand. And don't forget to like and subscribe because this story is far from finished. If anything, it's just getting started. The next update, it could be the one fans have been waiting for. The one that finally answers the question once and for all. Only here at GossipSlice. Wait! Don't leave just yet. Let's quickly rewind what went down. Evie Templeton was asked directly about Jenna Ortega and Emma Myers, and instead of denying the rumors, she called them inseparable, rare, and beautiful. Fans didn't hear a safe Hollywood answer. They heard something that sounded real. That single moment exploded online, turning into one of the most talked about clips in the entire Gemma timeline. So here's the bottom line. Evie's words didn't end the rumors. They made them louder. And whether you think it was confirmation or just friendship, one thing's clear. This story is only getting bigger. Stick around because the next update could change everything. Make sure you're subscribed to GossipSlice so you don't miss it. Because trust me, you'll want to be here when the next piece of the puzzle drops. Now you can leave. See you on the next one.